What's going on, everybody, man? It's your boy Uncle P, and I'm in the den, man. I'm in the den right now, but I have a special guest, man. We've been chatting back and forth before the show start. And listen, I don't want to mess up her name because I'm not bilingual. I'm not very good at Spanish. I literally failed Spanish all 4 years I took it. I don't know how that happened, but it definitely happened to me. But I want to introduce you guys to, I can say her first name, no problem, but it's the second and the third name. So I'm going to let her pronounce her whole name for y'all. Then we're going to get into a conversation.
All right. So hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. My name is Daisy Artiles Streckes.
Artiles.
Artiles.
Artiles Streckes.
There you go. There you go.
Absolutely. Artiles Streckes. I got to keep on saying that over and over and over again. But Daisy Artiles Streckes is from the Delaware County Foundation, right? And we're going to get into a conversation of what the foundation is about. What is their sole purpose, and how are they here to benefit us, right? Or to help the city of Chester stand up on its own feet. How you feeling, Daisy?
I'm feeling great. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about what is the foundation? What is that? What is that idea?
So the Foundation for Delaware County is a philanthropic organization. Our main office is in Media, Pennsylvania. So Healthy Start is under that umbrella. Many people know what Healthy Start is. We've been in Chester area for years now. But I don't know if you remember when Crozier Hospital was bought over by Prospect a few years ago, we kind of came out with they didn't really want to mess with the nonprofit side of it. So we became the Crozier Foundation. So at that point, we went through another name change, and we became the Foundation for Delaware County. So they took on the Healthy Start and NFP program and Cribs for Kids. So our main thing under the Women and Children's Health Services, which we've done for years, that came about because Chester, and to this day, still has a pretty high infant morbidity mortality rate. Yes, so we're here to help that. Yeah. So the Healthy Start program, that component is case management. We work with moms and their families from the time that mom's pregnant until that child is 18 months old. So we want to make sure that mom is getting adequate prenatal care, postpartum care, and then that child is getting their well child visits. So on the case management side, we're there to help eliminate or work around any barriers that keep mom from going to the doctors. It's really something for us, maybe like, okay, we may be late on a bill or two, but when that gets higher and higher and you've got other things going on at home, the last thing you think about is, I got to get up, I got to go to the doctor. When you're worried about, am I going to have enough electricity? Am I going to have food to feed my children?
Absolutely.
That people calling you on the phone, and even issues like domestic violence or drugs and alcohol. All of those barriers that can keep mom from getting that prenatal care, that's what we hope to do and that's what we do as with case managers. Each client is assigned a case manager, and they're calling. During the pandemic, we did not miss a step. If anything, it actually allowed us to meet even more regularly with our clients because we could use WhatsApp. We had clients that perhaps, they didn't have FaceTime and things like that, but WhatsApp, as long as they had Wi-Fi. So we were still doing like the telemed visits, and we were able to catch them at all hours. Personally, I am the bilingual services specialist for the foundation. So anything having to do with translations or working with Spanish-speaking clientele, then that falls under my purview, and translating material and information that goes out from the foundation in Spanish. I'm also one of the bilingual case managers. So I deal with clients who are, a lot of them, most of my clients are undocumented. That brings a whole different set of issues.
Yes, it does.
Then you've got clients that are worried about, a simple stop, running a red light or whatever can mean that person is taken away, sitting in some ICE detention center for 2-3 years before they're deported back home. And that, in the meantime, this family here doesn't know what happened to their loved one. Wow. They just know that they were here, they were on their way home, and
Right.
now they're gone.
And they're gone.
And that has literally happened.
Wow.
Um, that's another way that the constraints of the pandemic has helped, because we did have instances, and I don't know if you're familiar with it. There are times when ICE is around certain neighborhoods.
Right.
Spanish speaking, families are afraid to go out because
Right.
they could get just picked up.
Right.
So we're able to still now communicate with them via the phone, um, video chatting, and then making sure that they are getting, still getting to their appointments. Telemed, just making sure that they're set up to get their telemed appointments for those that physically don't have to go in, so that they're still being monitored. Um, that being said, we also have the Nurse Family Partnership Program. So for first time moms, we now have we've always had it where the nurses follow them on their medical side. So make sure their mom's pressure is doing good, sugar checks,
Right.
that they're not overly stressed, that they're eating right. And WIC is under us now also.
Okay.
So we are, so those who aren't familiar, we used to be housed at the old community hospital
Well, community
on
hospital. Absolutely.
2600 West Ninth. We're now at Baldwin Towers.
Okay.
So right behind the Walmart in Eddystone.
Yeah.
And we have WIC is right
Some
next to it.
outlets,
So,
right.
yeah, so we're on the third floor. So WIC is on one side, and
Right.
you got Healthy Start and NFP on the other side.
It's important to have a program called Healthy Start, right? That helps new mothers, right?
Mhm.
Just gain a foothold in this motherhood situation, because it's difficult out here for anyone, right?
It is.
New at doing anything, to do anything, but to be a mother, that takes a lot of energy. I can just imagine. I don't want to imagine, right? Giving carrying a baby for 9 months, then giving birth to a baby, and now being responsible for this child and everything this child is going to do, say,
Mhm.
or even
Yeah,
accomplish, right? So
yeah.
that's a lot of worry. That's a lot of worry. That's a lot of stress. So for a program like Healthy Start to be out, I don't know why a lot of people are there. A lot. Do you say you have a lot of people that partake in this program, or not as many people as you would like to see partake in it?
Oh, we don't have as much as we would like to see. Every mother, every
Right.
family that is expecting or has a child, a newborn, to be in our program, because we offer, like I said, those services. Plus, we now have a social worker, and she's bilingual. We have
Right.
moving beyond depression, because everybody's heard of the baby blues,
Right.
some sort of, the weepies, you get teary eyed, you're very emotional when you're pregnant. Those are hormonal changes.
Okay.
But when you're going beyond a point where you can't even fathom getting out of bed, or what do I do with this child? Am I
Right.
doing right? Am I doing wrong? When that lingers on, then there's a risk of that postpartum depression. So moving beyond, we, along with the doctors, because the doctor's office do the,
Right.
check on, they do what's called the Edinburgh depression scale. We do it also because we want to make sure that we're checking in with our moms and catching those red flags. So we do have a percentage of our clients that end up going to moving beyond depression to deal with it, because we're not out of this pandemic,
We're not
and we're not going to be out of it anytime soon. And it is still
anytime
putting a
soon. Right.
strain. So sometimes you just need somebody to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you have that component where you're being listened to, you're being given some guidance with your case managers and nurses. We're not here telling you this is
And
what you have to do as a parent. We're just giving you all the information so you're well informed, so that you do the best that you can do with the most up to date current information.
right.
You are the parent. Basically, what it comes down to, you are your child's first teacher.
That's
Everything
it.
they get from home.
To get from home.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
and we're working with them. We're working with families, and we also know that we're working with broken families. So
Right.
we try to, even if parents are separated, we try to work with them so that they are working together for that child.
How
Despite,
important how important is it for that to be the key in parenthood, even if the mother and the father aren't together, that they're working as a unit, right? For the best of that child, for the best upkeep of that child's life, right? How important is that right now?
what it's it's like trying to build a home from the bottom. You have to build it from the bottom up. You can't just put the roof on and put
Right,
everything else underneath. That's the foundation. That's where
right.
your child is going to learn. How do they cope in school? How do they
Hmm.
deal with bullying? Is at an all-time high.
Yeah, it's always been high. It's always been
It,
high.
yeah,
It's
and
always
and
been
even more, it's
high.
true.
Literally,
Yeah.
and I don't want to knock anybody for bullying because bullying affects people differently. I think
Hmm.
social media has exacerbated it. It makes it
Absolutely.
more of an ongoing. You used to be able to go to school, get bullied, and leave school and not have to deal with it. Now with social media, they're bullying you online, right? So
Hmm.
I think that it has made it bigger.
Yeah.
Um,
With your
but
coping skills, like you said, your
right,
coping skills again, because you're that first line of defense.
yes, you are.
So your coping skills, you learn everything at home. So that again, that parents working together, whether you're together as a couple or whether you separated, you still have to work together so that that child has all the coping mechanism that they need to deal with school, to deal with work, to deal with life, because they're going to look back and go, how did mom and dad handle it?
Right, right, right. So do y'all have therapy? Do y'all give the parents therapy? Is there a way for the
we
parents
have
to be able to talk?
we have things like parent cafe. We also have sessions that are set up for parents that are strictly dealing with drug and alcohol issues, where they can come together like peer to peer
Right,
to deal with things and how to manage it. And again, like I said, and now that WIC is under us, you got that whole everything works as a fine wheel. We have cribs for kids, so families, and this is cribs for kids is not just for our participants.
okay,
Anybody in Delaware County, if you know of a family that they don't have a crib,
right,
they can be referred to us through an organization, through church, through your radio station. Send a referral to us. We'll make sure that that family gets a crib because we safety first. We all
right,
we all grew up, and I know I grew up in an era where, yeah, mom used to. I remember being rolled up like a taco. It's like,
right,
certain
right.
things that they did, and where you slept, and that being put on the sofa with the cushion underneath.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
that wasn't safe. So a lot of us could say, yeah, I survived. Thank goodness I survived. But the reality is that's really not safe. It's safer for a baby to be in their crib, laying on their back, no pillows, no stuffed animals, no all that frilly stuff around. So we want to make sure that they're safe. Sleeping in bed. We talk about co-sleeping in the same room, but not in the same
Right.
bed.
Not in the
Put
same
that
bed.
crib, yeah, put that crib next to the bed, and even breastfeeding. Breastfeeding. If every parent or mom understood how essential breastfeeding is a safety against SIDS itself.
I think breastfeeding. I'm not a woman, so I really can't speak on these things, right? And I saw a post the other day, and I think they were talking about Roe versus Wade. If you don't have a uterus, just shut up. And I don't
Yeah.
have a uterus, right? And I want you to keep on talking about what you're talking about. But I think breastfeeding is essential. So I breastfed until I was 2 years old, right? And
Mhm.
everybody like, what you were? Yeah, yeah. My mom didn't have a problem popping it out and putting it in my mouth, right? And that was
Yeah.
okay. And I feel like for children, that are breastfed, I feel like they have maybe less of a chance to get sick during their first 2 years or their first 5 years. Really, they have less of a chance for irritability. Right, they're getting the milk that was made for
Yep.
them,
Oh.
and not drinking cow's milk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We
So
were we
I
were
was
we
I
were
was
born to have cows milk. Well,
right,
the same way that a woman's body was made to conceive, carry, and bear that child, that's why we produce the milk to nourish that child.
right,
And
right,
that the first 3-4 days, a lot of women get caught up in that. I don't have milk coming down. You're not going to have milk.
not
That's
going to have milk.
colostrum. That's what they
Right,
call liquid gold.
right,
That is so essential, especially when the child is born with things like jaundice. Like those things
right,
help. It helps in finishing the maturing of the brain. There have even been
right,
studies done where a child's intelligence, where they checked it, a child that is breastfed has a higher IQ than a child that's been formula fed. And formula will never be able to
Never.
reproduce the antibodies that the mother's milk has. For example, even now during this pandemic, we have no immunizations for an infant. However, a mother that has been immunized gives that child the protection through her breast milk. So that
Yes,
child
yes.
is immunized against COVID. Breast milk, I mean, formula food cannot do that. You know, so I mean, it's not, and I'm not knocking formula food. It serves its purpose. There are children that need it. There are cases where mom is unable to breastfeed for a number of reasons. So it does have its place, but primarily breastfeeding is the best source for that child for all around. Like you said, they have less respiratory issues, less gastric issues.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like we're built for it. We're built for it. And you would be amazed at how you can store it in the freezer for up to 6 months. You can
Six
store it in the
months.
yes, you can freeze it.
Yes.
And
Right.
the body is it's like a manufacturing company. So it's like the more you breastfeed, the more milk you'll produce. So you'll have more milk that you can store. So even if you have to work, that
Right.
shouldn't be a reason why you say, "Well, I got to give formula because I got to work." Well, no,
Mhm.
you can store your milk and you can take it to your sitter and say,
Yep.
"Nope, this is what I
Here's the
want you to
milk.
give my
Right.
child."
Put it in
Yep,
the freezer.
there you go.
I think it's essential. I think the options though that we have right with the different milks out here make it easier for a woman to say I can't breastfeed, it hurts, or I can't breastfeed. And I'm not a woman, so I really can't talk about those things. And I apologize to any woman that I
Mhm.
might be offending right now, right? Because if I could breastfeed my child, I would, like
Yeah.
literally, like that.
Yep.
I don't. I think it's a different connection that you have with your child, right? You feeding your child a different connection that that child then has with the mother, right? To
Mhm.
understand that that's who I need. That child needs you. I'm hungry. Pick me up and breastfeed me, right? So
Yeah.
and I just think it's a beautiful feeling for a woman to be able to breastfeed her child as opposed to putting the bottle together, shaking it up, and
Yeah.
handing it to the child like that, right? So
Yep. And there are issues that come up with breastfeeding. You do get your nipples do crack. You do bleed. You mastitis is an infection that you can get. So yes, there are concerns, but I'm also site and there are a few of us here. We're certified lactation counselors. So we have that training. We have postpartum doulas. We have birth doulas now. But when you get that support, sometimes it's just a matter of that baby is latching on. Then it's how you hold that baby to make sure that they latch on correctly. If you're experiencing nothing but pain, it sometimes it's as easy as showing mom this is the way to really latch on, and you'd be
right.
surprised. They're like, oh, that's all
Oh,
it was.
that's all it was, right?
Yeah.
And that's
So
important. So I definitely commend y'all for everything that y'all doing over at the foundation. What else you got going on? Because I hear you got a father's situation going on.
yeah, I will
We can
let
talk about
Onaja.
that.
Yeah, you
Right,
had
right,
to have
right.
a conversation with my man Onaja.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, the fatherhood component, and you're familiar with it because we have you on our committee.
Right,
So we've
absolutely.
got a conference coming up in June.
Mm-hmm.
Again, focusing on fathers, on the role that they play. I can't stress how important it is
Yes,
that mom and dad work together,
work together.
um, and that child needs that father figure in their life. Again, these are the building blocks. This is what's going to help that child to make hopefully making the best decisions in their life course, and it all begins at home. It becomes when they're tender. So we work with dads, and sometimes you feel for dads because there's so much out there for moms. When it comes to
Right.
love, dad, even when I feel for them. So sometimes when you're at the doctor's appointment, dad is looking at, I mean, the doctor's looking at mom, giving her all that information, and dad's here in the corner sitting down like, do, 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 do. And it's like that there's not much that is, given at that point to dad. So he plays an important part. I'm an advocate for in utero reading and talking and playing that touch. Like you can read to your child. That child recognizes your voice when they're
Absolutely.
in utero.
Yes, they
And
do.
dad, you've seen it, we see it in pictures and whatever, but getting down, dad going to the belly and talking to
Mhm.
his child, touching the stomach, that baby responds, even as an embryo, as a fetus, responds to touch of the mom's belly. responds to sounds, responds to singing. So dad singing, talking, touching the belly is all part of reading and building that child up in utero. So it's just as important once that child is born, play, play with that baby.
Playing
That's
with
a
the
way
baby.
that they
Right.
learn. Sing the silly songs.
Right.
But that your baby is learning. The more time that you spend with them, and it's a again. I can't. You talked about it. It's like that. It's a bond that
It
you
is. You
you
can't
can't
break it.
even describe
You
that
can't
bond.
break it, no matter what, right? Literally,
Yep.
So I have 7 children, right? And I didn't. I got to be there for most of them, right? And not there for all of them. And I can tell by the way they respond to me when I say different things, the ones that
Mhm.
were there, the ones that I was able to be there for, and the ones that I wasn't able to be there for. So it's very crucial for fathers to put themselves in that situation with their child and go through the pregnancy with the mom, right?
Mhm.
And allow themselves to get sick. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you don't feel good, right? Sometimes you
The
cramping right
sympathy
along with
comes.
mom. You're like, oh man, what's wrong with me? But you have to, be there for the mom. You have to nurture the mom. You have to talk to the mom. You have to rub her stomach. You have to talk to your baby, and let her know that you're going to be there. I'm going to be here regardless. We don't know what tomorrow brings, honestly, and we don't know
Yep.
the different situations. So, and I don't want to judge anybody for anything. I just want to tell people that when a man wants to be a father to a child, allow him to be a father to that child. Allow him to be there. Allow him to help you out, right? And don't kick him out
Mhm.
so quick, man. Like
Yep.
we're not
And
all
there and yeah, and fatherhood, it may not be the biological father,
no, might not.
but it may be grandpa. It may be the neighbor across the street, the whoever is in your church, that father figure,
Right,
whoever
right.
identifies with that child or that child identifies with, that's part of that fatherhood component because
Yes, it is.
we can't everybody needs a mom or a mom figure, a dad or a dad figure. Again, those are the building blocks. Those are the things that when we look back in life, we know what made us strong,
Right.
who made us strong, and who
Absolutely.
was there to help us and guide us.
Hmm.
So again, sometimes it's not the biological dad, but whoever is playing that role, that's part of that fatherhood component.
And allow him to play that role. Allow him to be a
Yep.
father to your child. Allow him to tell your child he's right or he's wrong. Allow him to build your child up. I feel like a lot of the things that we deal with in our community, from a criminal standpoint, comes from the fact that there are not a lot of children that are able to dream. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the hope of a dream, right? When you ask young men what do they want to be, they be like, I don't know. I'll figure it out, right? And I feel like as a child, you have to figure those things out when you're growing up, right? From age birth to 14 years old, you figure out what you want to be. You find out what you like, what you like to be involved in, and then from 14 to 21, you're mastering that. That's the time you're supposed to be
Hmm.
mastering everything that you're going to do when you grow up. But if we don't have fathers and mothers that allow their children to understand that this is a dream, this is what I want to be, you see it, and then you go out into the world and you become it. We run into criminals. We run into people that don't value the time that they have on this earth. They don't value other people's time either. So I think the foundation is very good and key at allowing people the beginning stages and understanding that you, as a mother, as a father, you have a job to do to raise this child up so he could be everything that you ever dreamt of being. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's like I appreciate
Yeah.
I
It's a,
appreciate you, all the
yeah.
work that y'all doing, man. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's exposing them, and in the education that they get when they're in our program, it's also teaching the parents is like you got to get out of that little block radius. There's more than Chester. There's more than Pennsylvania. Like you were saying,
Right.
allow your child, let your child imagine, use that imagination. If today they say, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, okay, well, what do you need to enforce that? And tomorrow it may change, but at least you've been supporting your child to dream, to
Hmm.
then grow, because you don't know that job, that ideal job may not be right around the corner. But if you don't expose your child to the things around them and beyond them, they're not going to be willing to go. That job may be out in Oklahoma. It may be in
Right.
Hawaii. It may be
Right.
in California. Their
I can't
school, the
leave.
school that they go to is
Right.
not going to, it may not just be around here. It may
Right.
not just be the community college. Let them explore the world. And again, those are the building blocks that you get from home.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we try to provide that. And again, um, the Cribs for Kids program we have. Trying to think what else we have. We run the Center for Hispanic Resources, and I coordinate that center, and that's for any Spanish speaking family in Delaware County. You know, Delaware County is a desert when it comes to serving immigrant populations.
Right.
I'm part of the Delaware County Immigrant Coalition.
Okay.
Then and there's organizations in like the multicultural family center services that came about when we were doing the work with the census.
Hmm.
Like we knew that Delaware County was a desert, but it became even more apparent
Wow.
during the census, and then we get slammed with the pandemic. So
Oh,
those numbers that we see from this last census, I don't pay attention to those numbers because we know that we got undercounted because people just didn't respond. And
right.
then COVID came on top of that. So we know those numbers are off.
Right.
So we're lacking when it comes to the responses in our community. But we decided as a coalition, organizations that serve immigrant populations, and I'm not talking just Spanish speaking, we've got African, we got Haitian Creole, we've got
Right. Like I
Indian,
say.
we've got everything.
Right.
So as a coalition, we're trying to work together to support each other and provide services versus reinventing the wheel.
Absolutely.
So those are the kinds of things. And overall, like I said, starting out, the foundation itself is a philanthropic organization, and we provide funding opportunities to organizations.
Where you go? Did I lose you? The Wi-Fi? Please come back. Please come back.
I'm back.
Are you there? All right. No,
I'm
you
here.
were saying you provide funding to.
The Foundation for Delaware County. So if you just look up the Foundation for Delaware County, you can go on our page and it lets you know when we have monies available for organizations, the nonprofit. We provide money to keep on running programs or run new programs that help support families in Delaware
Right.
County.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's out there. Whenever there's a grant availability, we welcome everybody to apply for those services or for that money.
That's definitely dope. Like it's just it's amazing to see an organization in Delaware County giving back, right, to the community because our community has suffered enough, right? Literally, right?
Mhm.
Chester has been and it's past the place to be, right? And
Mhm.
since I want to say since the 70s, man, it is slowly but surely falling off, right? And that's why the radio station is here. That's why we have so many brothers and sisters out there fighting for what's right in our community. And we're not going to stop. So it's dope to talk to you, to sit in on the committee meetings. I never thought, I never imagined myself in this position that I'm in right now. So I definitely appreciate you for
Thank you.
tapping me on the shoulder and say, what's up? I'm trying to come through. Right. And I feel as though the foundation, y'all might need a show, right? A little half an hour show talking about what you're doing or what philanthropic ideas you have, right, for the community.
Would
I
love
think that's
to.
important. I think that's important, right? And different shows, different people from different because you named about 5 different components of the foundation, and I know there are probably about 5 more to go. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So to
Well,
have
one of the things we're doing now before the money drives out, and now I'm glad you said that because you just reminded me. In my old age, I'm forgetting stuff. But
it's okay.
through
I forget
through
stuff all the time.
through the coalition, through the immigrant coalition, if you're not familiar with it, or if nobody's familiar with it yet, we have what's called ERAP, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. There are still monies out there for Delaware County. So
Right,
any family in Delaware County, any family that has fallen behind in rent or
right,
utilities during this pandemic can apply, please give me a call. Let's not lose this money.
All right.
So where there's a possibility, past September, it may not be there, may
Won't
not
be
even
here
be here
anymore.
through September, but apply. The most they can say is, okay, no, you don't qualify, but you don't
Right.
know until you apply. So
Right.
if you have gotten behind in your rent, so you have to be a renter. It's not for homeowners. If you rent and you've
Right.
fallen behind, rent and or utilities, please apply for that funding. Give me a
Not for
call.
businesses either. It's not for
Not
businesses
for
either.
businesses. It's
No.
just for renters.
They didn't do
Um,
anything for businesses. Like if you were a small
they
business.
there were things that were out there for businesses, but
Hmm.
what we're focused
On the family.
on the
Right.
families.
Right. Right.
So when the emergency rental assistance came through, we've been working through that.
Okay.
And like I said, that money is still there. So please apply. Like people are not responding like we thought that they would.
No, nobody wants to. Literally, nobody wants to say they need help until they're about to be evicted or they're about to run into some trouble. Right. You have to be able to understand when enough is enough and say, I might need a little bit of help. And right now, I think ERAP is important because it can help you stay in the house that you're in, help you make a
Mhm.
home, and help you stop working so hard to pay that rent. Because your rent, the guy that your landlord knows 9 times out of 10 you won't be able to pay that money back, right?
Mhm.
So then he got something over your head, and I'm not gonna get into all that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When you look at it this way, none of us came in here without any help. We got pushed out. We had to be
Yeah,
helped along to get out of there. So
yeah,
wherever we always need a helping hand. And the thing is, once we get that help, then we reach back and help the person
mhm,
behind us. So you keep paying it
absolutely.
forward. And that's the way that we're going to succeed if we keep helping each other. Because you can't get through this life on your own.
No, you
And what
can't.
you were saying about Chester, you know, being at the situation where it is right now, Chester is not the only place. So we know what we're not alone in this. You got Philadelphia, pockets of Philadelphia that are going through this, New York, Detroit, wherever it is. There's always communities that are in dire straits, and you can't do it alone. You
No,
need
you
the
can't.
help, and that's
You
what
can't.
we're all here for. We're not trying. We can't spend time reinventing the wheel. We have got to work together, pool resources. You do this, we do that, we do. Well, let's all come together and help the community, and not spend time and resources reinventing what's already
It
exists. It's
already
a matter of
exists.
coming
Right.
together.
Well, I thank you very much for taking out this half an hour out of your busy day, right, to talk to me and to talk to our viewing public. Is there anything else you want anyone to know about Delaware County Foundation?
Just give us a call, reach out to us. My telephone number is 267 453 7289. So give me a call, and whatever resources we can provide, if we don't do it directly, we will do our best to make sure that we refer you somewhere that will provide that service. So
Absolutely.
and I thank you for having us. I thank you for being on our fatherhood committee.
No
So I'm
problem.
looking
No
forward to
problem.
this conference. I'm looking forward
Absolutely.
to, having more time that we can discuss what we do as an organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want you to have a blessed day on purpose. Listen, everybody, I want you right now to go look up the foundation of Delaware County, right? And I want you to see what services they provide, right? If you need rental assistance, they got the money right now. Please reach out to them. Please find out what is available for you. Don't wait until it's too late. If you need some help, just say you need some help. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to look at you differently. And if they do, so what? They need help too. They just scared to say it. It's cmpradio.net. It's your boy Uncle P, man. Live in the den. As you can see, my beautiful artwork done by the one and only Kenneth Picasso Hunt. Listen, right now, see this right here? Right now. That's up for if you want that painting, right? You can hit us up on Facebook and
Oh,
donate some money to the radio
oh,
station,
oh, I thought
right?
it was mine.
Donate some money to the radio station. That's it, man. It's cmpradio.net. It's your boy Uncle P. I want to thank Miss Daisy Artiles Strecker. That's it. That's it, right?
Strictly.
Strike it.
Strictly.
Right. Strike it. I don't.
Yeah.
I be lunching sometimes. But it's your
Right.
boy Uncle P, man. I want y'all to have a blessed day, man, on purpose. Make sure you tune in a little bit later. We will have Carol Kazim, the candidate for the 159. She will be live on cmpradio.net answering questions. That's what she wants to do. So I said, okay, if that's what you want to do, you got the time to come up here. Let's get it done, man. It's cmpradio.net. It's your boy Uncle P.
Thank
Peace. Be
you.
safe.